Hello, I'm Elaine Flint. I'm the Voscur representative to the Prosperous and Ambitious Board, the sub-board of the Bristol Partnership, reporting back on our meeting of the 17th of May. Two key headings there on the agenda. One was the local transport plan consultation, and the other was a document around digital connectivity. So starting with the transport plan, this was very much around the process for the consultation and development of the next phase of the Joint Local Transport Plan number 3, which actually covers the period 2011 to 2026, which seems an enormously long way in the future. Really the details of this, for those who are interested in this area, are best seen on the West of England specific website dealing with transport, which is called travelplus.org.uk, and that really documents all the transport improvements in the West of England area, both the current local transport plan and its implementation, and also development of this latest Mark III Joint Transport Plan. There is going to be a period of consultation on the plan, which I believe is going to be July to September 2010, but then that seems to have changed its timescale very slightly recently. It's based on the Department of Transport's national goals, which are all, sounds fantastic, which are all around reducing carbon emission, supporting economic growth, equality of opportunity, safety, security and health, and quality of life. So yeah, well, I'll tick for those. But obviously, the elephant in the room is national cuts, and obviously these are looking ahead. So really, what's going to be achieved, both in terms of the current local transport plan and its implementation, apart from future aspirations, is something really which remains to be seen. So the presentation was very much around process. The discussion at the board was much more practical, really, and was very much around the implications of high bus fares in Bristol, which is recognised as a major factor, really, in terms of people switching to bus from car and use of bus. And it was recognised it was particularly a disincentive for young people, the cost of bus fares, and the fact we have a monopoly supplier in First in Bristol. So that's an important issue for any transport developments. Interestingly, also a discussion around the very hard decisions that need to be made if there is going to be a major switch from cars to other modes of public transport. Demand management, I've now learnt, is what it's called, and those hard decisions around issues such as road pricing, to keep cars out of the centre of the city, and also looking at issues of pricing and availability of parking and restrictions on parking. And I think it was recognised in the discussion that those were very hard issues and would require support, cross-sector support, from communities, from economic groups, as well as political groups, and that's quite hard to align those groups really on those issues, and that's been the experience elsewhere in the UK. So that was an interesting discussion, really, about sort of the future for traffic in Bristol. So if those interested in transport, please go to that website and make sure that you're involved in the consultation. That did take up actually most of the meeting. So the paper on digital connectivity, which was presented by Stephen Hilton from Bristol City Council, was a very much a scoping paper, which I think had been elsewhere in it had been to the Bristol Partnership Executive Board earlier in March. And was very wide-ranging. The thing I really picked up on that, the key issues there were around access, high speed, green ICT and open data are the sort of the headlines around inclusiveness and connectivity. The thing I picked up particularly there was a piece of work which the City Council is undertaking at the moment, actually using a specialist company based in Newport, but they're doing a scoping exercise on the creation of a citywide ICT recycling service. I believe that scoping exercise should be completed fairly soon, and then the intention is that the council would be putting out a service to tender for whoever would want to take on that role. So, I mean, I think that's a very important thing to watch for third sector recycling organisations, particularly those who already are dealing with ICT recycling, you know, albeit at probably at a smaller scale than is currently being envisaged as a citywide ICT service. So people will need to keep an eye open for that. So those were the two key areas that were discussed. We do have another meeting, not what they call a formal meeting. We tend to have informal meetings every other month and a formal meeting every second month. The next meeting is, I think, on the 9th of June, which is next week, and is going to be looking, I think, at the cultural strategies. So, yeah, take my head to a completely different place from transport and digital connectivity. Thanks very much.